Like the whole audition like thing was like crazy. Like I didn't even know like what was happening because she did like Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30 and like they're so like secretive of like that movie at the time. It wasn't even called Detroit. It was like Untitled Catherine Bigelow project. I hadn't done anything. I did some commercials when I was younger. I did this small movie in Dallas called Carter High. So I'm going in and the names that are a part of it. I'm like, okay. And so I just go out there and but it was so big that I didn't care. So I just went out there and I was just like, whatever. And like, I remember, I just like you in this industry, like you want to stick to your instincts. Like your instincts are the only thing that's gonna separate like all of y'all in here. So whatever your like instincts are, because at some point like everybody's beautiful, everybody's talented. The only thing that's gonna separate you is like how you feel about love, death, politics, and those things that are like unique to like yourself. And so like when I went in for that, I wasn't ready, and it was like crazy what I did at the time. Like they were like, "Yo, you got to go audition today," and I was like y'all just gave me the material. I said, "I'm not going," and everybody looked at me crazy. It was like, who's this little kid telling Catherine Bigelow you're not showing up? I was like, look, tell her my mom worked at for the airlines at the time. I was like, where's she gonna be at tomorrow? They was like, Detroit. I was like, all right, I'll fly there. Somehow God like blessed me and they were like, okay, you can audition in New York tomorrow. So I go in. Audition was crazy. I didn't really know what was going on, and they were like, "Can you come? We want you for the film." They lied to me, by the way. It was like, "We want you for the we want you for the film. We want you to come back and like audition with somebody. We want to see if we want them for the film." So I'm sitting there, and they give me like this huge like stack of papers. They kind of tell me like the character that I'm playing, and 15 minutes later they come back, and I'm like, "What's up?" And they're like, are you ready? And I was like, all right, I'm already here. So tell me when I walk out, and I'm walking like through a hallway just like this, and the person who's walking up to audition with me is John Boyega. And I was like, they not auditioning Star Wars, they auditioning me. You know what I mean? So, but I go in there and I didn't really know any of the lines on that paper, and I just like, I moved off of like feeling, and really, I just kind of snapped. It was a movie about like how how like white people treated us back then, and everybody that was the producers and directors that was right there. And like, to be honest with you, I kind of just snapped on everybody, and that's how I got that movie. I just started cussing people out, and and I remember calling my manager after that, and I was just like, either he said, how'd it go? I was like, either I'm blackballed from the industry for the rest of my life, or I think I got the movie. But yeah. Moderator, anybody, where is she? Great question, by the way. But no, that's probably my like most favorite like project to this day.
All right, the strike ended 1-2 days ago. What are your next steps? We got auditions. Is it coming through for you?
There was some stuff before like the strike happened. I don't necessarily know what I can or can't talk about. Yeah, but like this. There's always motion, baby. There's always big motion going on, But no, I've been working on like my own stuff for like a very long time. Like I've had a production company for a minute, and so like even one of the professors who I was talking about earlier, Hans, he's the DP of our show, so he's the director of photography for our show, and so he was supposed to be here now, and he was like, "Oh, I can moderate for you," but then. The industry opened back up, so he's in France right now, filming. And he was like, "You want to pull up?" I was like, "I'm coming here," but I was like, "Send me a ticket, man, France." So yeah, so like with that, like yeah, there's things in the works. You know what I mean? For sure. Anybody else? So,
what's your process for preparing for a role?
Oh. So with that, my mom knows why I'm like getting emotional right now. So like I'm gonna give you a long explanation about this. The lady who like actually like changed my life, like who there's a writer called Lanford Wilson. Like she's like mentioned in like all his books. Used to like be over Circle Rep Theater in New York. Like knew all these great people like Sidney Lumet and like studied like with people who was with Meisner and Stanislavski and all these people like. How you doing? Oh, I was just talking. I'm good. My bad. I was just over here talking.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm good. Usually the moderator of the panel is not the late one. It's usually the actor, but my apologies. I'll tell you guys why in a second. But keep going. I want to, that's what this is about, your story.
No, for sure. Yeah, so, the lady that I was talking about, I talked to her maybe 2 days ago. She was in New York for 60 years, and so recently, like earlier this year, I believe she had to move to San Francisco, and she's passing from cancer. So like my entire process comes from that lady. I was in, I left FAMU, I left Florida A&M. I just kind of like, don't do this, by the way. But I stood up in the middle of class and I was just like, I'm gonna risk everything. And I wrote myself a contract and I said what I was gonna do in 2 years. My parents, like growing up, they believed in like education. It was like, it's the only way to do this and that. And I was like, yeah, cool. But I don't even know what I want. I was in business administration. I wasn't even in the field. I didn't know that was possible. Like nobody told me that. And like, so I left there. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was graduating from FSU's film program. Went out to New York. I went out with her. I had an audition. My manager just gives me this number and gives me that lady's number. I ended up staying out there. I went and worked with her, and and in like 30 seconds of working with her, I said, "Oh, I don't know how to act." And so there was a Chase Bank on like 79th and Broadway, and so I said, "Hold on 1 second," and I go to it. And I think maybe I had like 500 in there. I take it all out. I like disconnect from my moms, everybody. Like I didn't talk to anybody. I told that lady, I said, "Hey, show me what you know." And I said, "This is all I have to my name right now." I said, "But I promise you I'll make it and I'll give it back to you." And I stayed out there in New York, and I was like homeless for years, sleeping on like baggage claim in LaGuardia. But every day I would go to that lady's house on 171, 79th Street, and I would like study acting like for 18 hours a day. Like I promised myself for those 2 years, I was like, what's 2 years for the rest of my life? So I didn't go out, I didn't party, I didn't do nothing, my girlfriend was on a cruise ship. So like it was a perfect thing. Like I talked to her here and there, but like I locked in. And I tell like all my friends, I told my brother this the other day, anything that you want in life, as long as if you lock in on it, like it's impossible for it not to happen. But you gotta be real with yourself, and a lot of times we're not like honest with ourselves. And like, do we really be locked in? Like even like right now, like even like me telling y'all this is me trying to like, I'm not preparing and doing the same things that got me to the place that I'm at now. Like I got the coasting, like things got cool. I got the chilling, got comfortable. Come on, put a little Marnie on, you know what I mean? Life got good, but like to go back to what you said about my bad if this is long.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, so like basically like I study I know it's a long explanation, but I study a version of it's a version of Meisner, because like Meisner is meant for like theater. So like sometimes you're with a green screen, you can't do repeat with a green screen. So but I sat there and I did like the foundations of that. So like I'll take, for me, my theory behind it. It may not be right, but it's my theory behind acting. Like I'll never play somebody that's not Peyton Alex Smith. So the only thing that changes is my circumstances. So like where I'm from, how I feel, my parents. And so then I base that off of that, because like I said earlier, that's the only thing that separates us. Like me and you can go in and we can memorize the same lines, right? And I'm pretty sure that you can repeat them just like I can. So what makes them different? It's our interpretation on that. And so I sit down and I take the given circumstances that are in the script, and then I do my imaginary circumstances. So a lot of people try to like pull from like things that like happen in their life, and that's what's different about like Meisner. So imagine you're doing a play every day, and like shout out to my grandmother, by the way, Margie Smith. When she passed, I used to try to use like her for emotional scenes, and then like one day, like I was like pushing, and I was like forcing, and I was like, well, like I care about my grandmother, like what's that? And so I had to ask my coach, and she was like, you have to, things are stronger when you pull from imagination, because over time with things like that, like you heal. Like things happen, so those things, it's not that you don't care, but those things become different to you, and so they reach you different. And so like the biggest thing that you can do is imagination. Like when people talk about Denzel, like Denzel's imagination is crazy. Like all you have to do is have like an imagination. So I take my given circumstances and my imaginary circumstances, and then I build it, and I do a whole bunch of other stuff, but I build a character, like starting with that foundation. Yeah, sorry for that moment.
It's quite all right. And that was a great answer. I don't even know if I caught the question, but it was a great answer because I loved how passionate you are about what it is that you do. But we'll get to that in a second. Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Simpkins. I am a reporter and TV host. I live in Los Angeles. I am from Los Angeles. But I did spend a little time at a HBCU called Spelman in Atlanta. Anybody know that school? All right. And then I did finish at UCLA because I always knew that if I was going to work in Hollywood and be an entertainment reporter and journalist, that I needed to live in that city. And so I have spent the last decade talking to fabulous actors like this young man and seeing his work. Actually, the first time I saw a project you were doing was in a movie called, do you remember Detroit?
Yeah. It was
oh my gosh. It was such an amazing film. I was one of the journalists who spent some time, we went on set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then saw it, went to Detroit and saw the film, covered it. You may not remember me. A lot of times the actors don't remember the journalists. They don't care about us. But that's the quick intro about who I am. But my career has been spent reporting on amazing films. The reason why I was late today was because I was interviewing an actor by the name of Coleman Domingo. Anybody know Coleman Domingo? If you do not know his name, you will know him soon. He's in an amazing film called Rustin that is opening in theaters at the latter part of this month, and it will be on Netflix. And it's about an unsung hero in the civil rights movement by the name of Bayard Rustin. Very good friends with MLK. And what he did, which I thought was so cool that I was coming here today to talk to you students, was that he galvanized young people just like you guys to help start the civil rights movement. And for that, 60 years ago, that March on Washington created a lot of the freedoms that we have today. I know I would not be able to do what I do now if it were not for people before me who opened doors in journalism, because just like I'm sure you have witnessed within Hollywood, there's this, diversity issue. The same translates for people in media, right? So I want to get into that. I want to start with that, right? Like, what has that been like for you as an actor? And do you consider yourself a Black actor? And do you find that sometimes roles, are not always given to you, or you have to fight a little harder for that?
Interesting. I do consider myself a Black actor. Consider myself a Black man. I'm not mixed, my hair nappy.
You'd be surprised. There's this conversation on social media, and some people don't want the term, so
but
have to ask.
for sure, yeah. I'm proud to be Black, and most of my opportunities in this industry have been given to me by Black women. I can say that. Probably two of the three shows that I've been a series regular on were Black women, and not just regular Black women like Felicia, Henderson, who created Soul Food, who started the show running for people, and then I work with Nkechi right now, who's doing All American. She's the only woman right now showrunner who's doing 3 shows. To showrun a show by itself is insane. I don't wish that on anybody. If you want to do it, it's tough work, but to do 3 at one time is crazy. So I felt like there's certain roles that I don't feel as African Americans that we get, you know, a lot of times as a director, I just watched her film Christine Swanson, and she was like, we do a lot of like black pain movies, and so there's not a lot of moments where we get to showcase anything else that we are capable of. Like, that's why I loved it. Like, my friend Dominique Fishback, she did Swarm. Like, we never get to, you know, not that I want us to be there, but we never get to play characters like that where we can go be like psychopaths, because all you really see is like a black man. It's like, oh, if he's killing or doing something, he's a gangster. There's nothing like behind it. And so I thought it was cool that she got to like dive deeper into that. But yeah, I definitely have like felt that over my career. I think we're in an interesting time where like that we have to take advantage of, you know, like, you know, after Black Panther and movies like that, they're like, we're popular right now. Like, everybody wants to see the black story, and like because before they didn't think that it would make money, and now that they see that like they can profit off of us, that now they're like, okay, and so now who cares how we got here? Now we got to take advantage of it. And so like myself, I want to take advantage of it, because like I know people before who my predecessors in acting and stuff, like they didn't have the same opportunities that I have. I'm not going to say that I have all the opportunities in the world, but I know that it was harder for them for sure. So like I respect that journey, and I'm grateful for like the time that we have now.
Yeah. I ask that question a lot too, because I know that obviously things have opened up in Hollywood with streaming platforms, right? Like a lot of those didn't exist 10 years ago, right? Or if they did, they weren't really creating content about people of color, right? And we have a lot more content creators, producers, directors who are opening doors, a lot more women who are opening doors. I think it's really cool. All right, I want to take it back a little, and forgive me if this is a question he's already answered, but I'm just curious, as someone who grew up in LA, right? Like Hollywood's my back door. I could see the Hollywood sign. I went to college there, grew up there, right? But so I'm always curious. I always ask people about their journey to LA. By a show of hands, how many people in here want to be an actor and aspire to move to California at some point? All right. Okay. So tell them what that journey. I mean, were you waiting tables? Because I know you started acting as a kid, but I mean that journey to get, you know, to land a role, you know, you still have to kind of work, and in the industry, we just got out of a strike. Congrats, no more strike.
Yeah, my journey. I don't know how people feel about this, but you don't need to go to LA.
Okay, all right, let's talk about it.
That's my personal opinion. It's maybe 10 years ago for sure. Like it was like the epicenter of like everything. But now, like, you know, I haven't had an in-person audition in like 5 years. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't like even like the callbacks, producer meetings. Like sometimes I hate it because I like human interaction. So it's like it's hard to connect with somebody. Like, you know, even when I like did my chemistry read with Jeffrey Maya on, we weren't even in the same room, so it's hard to like try to make somebody fall in love with you over Zoom. I mean, we do it all the time on FaceTime, but my journey, I did get out there. Like I wouldn't say that I was a kid actor. I tried. I kind of just woke up one day and I told my mom, like I think I was watching like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I was like, hey, I can do that. And I remember we had the little VCR TV combo pack, and I was like, man, I could do that. And she like kind of blew me off, and then like I just kept bothering her. She's sitting back there, raise your hand, Ma. That's her right there. So I kept bothering her at the time, and actually I went to this talent scout thing, and it was a scam. It was a scam, and like never pay money to be seen. You don't need to do it. It was a scam, but this is how like God worked and how the universe worked. There was a lady there by the name of Jennifer Petrides who like there was a couple actual real agents there. She met me and she told me something that I've kept with me my whole life. I was just like, I want to be a movie star, and she was like, okay, you can be a really good actor, but like a movie star, it's like. That's a gamble. It's a roll of the dice. You can't determine whether people want to like surround you and make you into like the next Will Smith or something. But you can be a really good actor if you want to do that. And so she was like my first agent. I did like commercials or whatever, but then she did go to Los Angeles, and she was the one from Dallas who brought like Selena Gomez, the Jonas Brothers, like all of them out there, and she was like 40 under on like Forbes, and like, but I like, she wasn't my agent anymore. And so for years I went to school with this guy here, grew up with him, and I didn't act. I would go back and forth. Like I went to like this Booker T, which was a performing arts school. I got kicked out of there, but look at me now. But I always wanted to go to LA, and I was telling my mom, like, I got to get to LA. Like I thought that was the way, and like the way wasn't like. My way was legit, like, and I don't even mean to say this because we're here, legit was like an HBCU. Like, everybody that I met there was like I done worked with them in this industry. Like, even like my mentor, Rob Hardy, like, went to FAMU. Like, when I worked with Anika, like, she went to FAMU, like, Will Packer, FAMU. And then everybody else was like, and then everybody else was Howard. It was like the DPs, the directors. I was like, dang, but I didn't know that, but I refused to go to LA. I would only go to LA to work. I would say that I'll end that with that. New York was my place.
Okay, I love that because that was my next question. Because either you go to LA or you go to New York, you do theater, right? Things that you guys are learning here, right? If we have some film and television and theater students. Okay, so you wanted to go to New York. Why? Why New York?
It was an accident.
Okay.
Like at the time, I was dating a girl named Christiane Pitts. Crazy story, when I did Detroit, and we had broken up. We had met up for the first time in like years, and she was starring in it was Robert De Niro's he was directing A Bronx Tale. And I remember having my last like conversation with her, and I'm making this into a movie, by the way. But I had my last conversation with her in Times Square. Detroit is up here in the middle of this, and then she's on the other side. And I'm sitting here, and she's never seen Detroit, and I've never seen her in that. But like, we told ourselves at that HBCU, like we signed, like she signed that contract with me, like a true story. We said we're gonna give each other 2 years to go and like get it, and we did. And so it was an accident of me like being out there, and like it was an accident of me running into my coach, who I was talking about earlier. And she actually, Bryson, can you bring me that phone? Because I asked her for some. You have it? She asked me to ask her for some advice or something to tell you guys. Sorry to go off real quick.
No, go ahead.
She's like a very special like lady to me, and like she's passing away right now. So like after this, I'm gonna go out there, and I was just like, what's something that I could like tell these kids? I was like, what was acting like? What did it mean to you? What was it like for you? Because she's 85 now or whatever, like it was just history. So you looking at like a 17-year-old like kid in New York, homeless, and like this lady's talking to me about life. And I'm like, and at some point like we stopped like doing acting classes, and my acting classes became life. The more you learn life, the better you'll become. She told me about a script a while ago. She was like, you'll be perfect for it, but not for another 25 years. And I was like, I can do it now, but now I understand. But she told me, let me see if I can find it. Y'all bear with me. Oh my God. I got some freestyles in here. Maybe I can remember it off the top. She told me, she said the beauty of acting is you get to find out what kind of human being you are. And like through acting, I've got to like find like myself more. You know what I mean? Like I'm put in situations that like I might not have like ever been put in, and it's helped me how to like love different. It's helped me like with my like relationship with like my parents. It's helped me my relationship with my like friends, with myself, which was the biggest thing, which was the hardest thing. It was like I wasn't answering anything on myself, like how I felt about religion, love, or anything. And so it forced me to, and I'm still on that journey like for that. But yeah, that's like I ended up in New York, and I told them earlier that I went and emptied my bank account, and I gave her everything, and I said that teach me everything you know, and one day I'll pay you back. And for every day that lady fed me, I would come and like I would just talk to her, and then boom, like Detroit.
Wow.
And I shot Detroit with probably like $200 in my pocket. Like nothing, like was out there when you met me. Yes, like those clothes weren't even mine. Like broke.
Wow.
Like bro, couldn't even like feed myself, and I telling my parents like nothing. Like I was all in, because I said, like, you know, I got that from Jim Carrey. He wrote himself a check, a $10 million check, and he was just like, I'm gonna go in for this time. And that's what I was telling them earlier. Like, if you really want something, like, you can say that you working for it, but are you really doing it? Like, do you wake up every day and do something towards your dream? You know what I mean? Like, and so I did it, and it worked. My mom would tell you, like, I ain't talked to, you could not find me. You could not find me until I made it, because I said, I will. Like, I used to stare at the ceiling, like, nah, like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it, and you gotta have that mentality. And I feel like New York did that for me. Like, I feel like for me, like, LA, like, I feel like they have, like, career, like, casting, casting directors. So
Yeah.
when you go out there, like, some of those people knew that they wanted to be casting directors. I like New York because to me it was like the people who were like auditioning me and was casting, they were failed actors. So they cared. And
Well,
so when I'm reading with them, they cared.
Yeah.
And it was just different for me, and that was just like my take on it. It might not be that, but like that's what it felt like when they was like reading. When they was like, yeah, let's play, and I was like, oh, like in LA, they like, all right, thank you, bye. Like, dang, like, you know what I mean? I got an agent and everything for like a casting call, like. But yeah, that was my experience, and that's why I liked New York.
So shed some light on everyone here, because I feel like people think like, oh, you do a movie and then you're rich and, you know, your life changes, right? And the reality is that after Detroit, did the floodgates open for other parts, or you still had to hustle and you had to keep grinding after that? A film, by the way, and I was looking up the director's name.
Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow, amazing director. Ended up getting nominated for an Oscar for that, correct? Wait, no, it wasn't.
That movie was actually blackballed. So like before, that was like when Trump was like going to office. They wouldn't let us show the movie in this city. Like they
No, you're
shut
correct.
down.
She got nominated for, I think, The Hurt Locker.
She won for
Hurt Locker.
Like she was the first woman director.
Yeah.
She went, and the thing was she was no, I ain't gonna say that out loud.
She's an amazing director. So the point is that you would the assumption is that you do this film with this stellar cast, right?
She had already had an Academy Award at that time.
Yeah, and just like
Cast was crazy. Yeah.
life which should change.
Actually, so that was the thing that I wrote down on that contract. I said for myself. I said, and it was crazy what I said, and I can't believe that like it happened. I said, but I had to like prove it to my parents, because they was like, you know, my dad was like, education, and I was like, business. I said, what am I doing? Like, I'm just not the guy wearing a suit, man. Like, it's just not me. Like, I can't. I'll go crazy if I sit in the cubicle. So I had to prove it to him. I'm like, I'm leaving college, and I wrote on the contract. I said, in 2 years, I'm gonna work with an Academy Award winning director, and then be the star of my own show. And I cut it down to a month on that contract. I was terrified. I was like, damn, I don't want to go back to school. But finish school, education, maybe. But no, like it's a constant battle. Like people think that, like, you know, that's always the question that you hear is like, hey, what's next? Like, what you got next? And like my mom would tell you, like, something like, I'll put on a smile, but like sometimes like that's the most like terrifying thing to hear. Like, sometimes it's nothing. Like, I'm during this whole strike, like some of my friends didn't understand the strike, and they're like, so what you gonna do next, right? And I'm like, I'm here in Dallas doing real estate. Like, I'm trying to kind of pay but like I didn't know. But it's a constant battle. Like, some of the biggest actors, they still have to audition. You know, like there's some films and stuff, like the directors have the people that they want, and you'll get an offer. Like, I've got an offer before for something, but like I've also had to like go up against the person who's already had the offer. You know what I mean? I can go do a bunch of shows, but I still have to like go through the process. you know, do I get to skip a couple like levels? I don't have to like start, you know, with the million, but like I'm still like auditioning against 1,000 people. You know what I mean? It's like the lottery every time. Like I compare it to like the NBA. Like you got to make it to the league every time that you go. It's a hard business. Like 98% of SAG actors are unemployed. Like if you do not love this business, don't like you gotta love it. Like for real, like it's tough. Like even like with what you do, like it's tough to like get these spots. Like it's like, and every time you gotta go and do it again. Like right, you know what I'm saying? Like I could talk about that. Like I'm not gonna be like a regular. Like I'm still going back, but I don't know what's happening over there with All American. But like I'm still gonna be over there. But like now, like I gotta go do it again. As soon as I leave y'all, I gotta go do it again. Like, I think I got an email of an audition like walking in here. As soon as I leave y'all, I'm gonna go read that. Yeah, sorry. I get to talk.
I'm going to open up to questions, but I want to also just, because this is the panel about the do's and don'ts. So maybe one thing that is a must, like for you, that you feel like now that you've kind of gone through, you've done film, you've done TV, you know, a do for these aspiring thespians and filmmakers and creators in here that they should do when they leave college. Like, what is something that, if that's what they want, if they want to be an actor?
Foundation. Simple on anything, whether it's directing or acting or producing, you need a foundation. Like at the end of it, like even though I didn't finish like school, I went and like study like education. Like you have to be educated in whatever it is that you're doing. Like there's no way around it. But like as far as like this industry is concerned, like I say go jump in. So like if you want to be like a director, like I have a friend, her name's Bola. She started, I don't know if you guys know what a PA is, like a production assistant. She started as that, and she Bola maybe a couple years older than me, from Dallas, and she directed me like when I did Legacies, and started as a PA, and like worked out and found her lane. Like I would just say you have to like be educated in whatever you want. Like it's just gonna make it so much easier. Like I went and learned. I practiced. I was with the Braves. Like I went and spent like $15,000-$20,000 learning how to play baseball, because I can't go out here and look crazy. Like you just be educated. Like foundation. Like I just I auditioned for this play that was at the Yale repertory like during the strike, because I was like that was the only thing that we could do was theater, and I hadn't auditioned for like a theater play in like high school, and I was terrified. And they called me back, then I got it, and like it kept going, and I got down to the last part, but it was only because of like foundation. You know what I mean? So I would just say that's the main thing. Like whatever it is, like you can look up things on YouTube, Google. There's a thing called Studio Binder on YouTube that like shows you like how to write, how to direct, like how to work with actors, and like there's a Meisner book that like will walk you through what I did with that lady in New York, but like foundation.
All right, what's a don't? Something to do not do this.
Don't slap nobody. Don't touch nobody. No,
Please don't slap nobody.
Unless it's in the script. But no, don't ever think that you know it all. Like even like that's even me like telling myself that, like, not that I thought I did, but like I had got to a point a while back where like I just thought I knew. Like even I would get nervous about even like doing stuff like this. Like who am I like to tell y'all like how to make, like doing things like everybody's journey is going to be different. Like we all ended up in this room, but we all took a different journey to get here. Like doing my journey is not going to, so I was always nervous about like telling people that, but like a don't is like, don't think that you, like don't stop learning. Which is like goes back to the first one, like don't stop, because there's something that you can always learn from somebody. And then also like watch who's around you. Like these people right here who are like next to you, like being around those same people, those people done gave me jobs. Like on my first show when I did like the quad, like those people were like PAs or like not even like the top writers on the show. Now these people are showrunners. Like when, shout out to my homie Randy Huggins. Like when he did BMF, like Tasha Smith like called me. I was in Atlanta like sleep. I just finished like shooting my show. They called me. She said, I ain't gonna say what she said, it's Tasha. But she was like, hey, she was like, where you at? And I was like, Atlanta. I was like, sleep. She was like, come to set today. And I was like, what? And I didn't even know who I was playing or whatever. She was like, yeah, you'll be Lala's husband. And I was like, all right. And Randy was like, oh, what's up, my boy? But these people were that I didn't know, but I was so like, he saw my work ethic back then, and he saw how I worked and stuff. But I didn't know he was gonna be that. But like, you stay consistent. But like, don't ever think that you know it all, and like, and don't push anybody to the side. It can take 1 year to change your life, and that's the same for the person next to you. So like, don't underestimate the person next to you. Don't underestimate yourself. I say that.
I love that. All right, we are going to open it up to questions. All right, right here.
Following up on the question somebody asked earlier, it's more of a technical question.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of embodying a character,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, character development, script development, I've been getting so many auditions where casting will request, we want, grounded and natural reads. I literally just got one.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in here, same as you. How do you feel?
Hey, I was capping. You got an audition, bro? Real agent. It's crazy. No, I'm like, keep going.
Grounded natural reads. I feel like that's such a misnomer, right? Because I'll do the tape, grounded natural, I'll be very internal with it.
What do you think? What do you think the grounded and natural is?
Being authentically how I guess someone would act in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do a tape like that, then my manager will get back. Hey, no, we need more from you. Amp it up. Give me more energy. Give me more emotion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about that?
You want my real answer?
I do.
Tell your manager shut up. No, I'm playing saying that, but even the conversation where I love my manager, he was even while I love working with Catherine Bigelow, like I would ask her a question about acting, and she was like, oh, no, I could never even begin to tell you about acting, because she was just that's so hard. Meisner said it takes 20 years to become an actor. Doesn't mean that you can't do anything in between, but to get to that place of that authentic place that you're saying, it's called public solitude. So they're saying you want to be as comfortable saying your lines and having this conversation with me as you are in the mirror brushing and combing your hair by yourself. You want to be that comfortable on stage. And my teacher, when they would have plays and stuff, and Marlon Brando and them, they would go out there and they would try to do the least. And I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you just to be honest to what's on that paper. Because I have that problem sometimes when I do network, and they want more from me, and they want me, and I know, but I just stand on it. If you feel that it's that, do you think that Denzel goes to set and he asked them, hey, do you think I should say this line like this? So you have to have that mentality before then. And I had to tell myself that, because I would be nervous, and I'd be like, all right, I wonder if they like this. After they cast me, that's their fault. They knew what I was gonna come with. They knew what I was gonna do. I did it in the audition. I did it in the callback. I did that. So I go out there, and that's the only way that I survived Detroit. I was terrified. People was being fired every day. We would work with somebody every day. I'm working with you every day for 2 weeks, and then the next day is somebody else. And I'm I'm the only one here with no credits. I said, I'm gone. I don't even have a script. And then but it helped me because I went out there and I was they finna fire me anyway. So I just started doing whatever, and she loved it. She hired me, to be a human being. And I was oh. So with your man, you're the one doing the training, you're the one doing that. You know what I'm saying? Let him manage your career. You manage the acting. So.
So you talk kind of about moving to New York, kind of going off the whim, just kind of following that faith path.
Mm-hmm.
How did you follow that path without ever saying am I going the wrong way? And how do you stay on track to be I understand the whole follow your intuition, but how do you stay on track to know that you're going in the right
Yeah, I didn't say that like none of that happened on my way. I just said follow instinct. You know what I mean? Like throughout the whole thing, I was like, God, am I tripping? I was just like, I done told my parents this and that. I was like, I done dropped out of school. I done left. Look, I said, look at you, P. You're sitting on baggage claim in New York. Look at you. Is this the dream? Like, yeah, every day. And I think it was one day when I was like ready to give up, man. Like, I remember asking God. I was like, God, like, I was in New York and I had like 2 auditions. It was like, it was this Obama movie, and then it was like this movie about like KD, I think. And I was up for like both of them. I was getting callbacks, or I wasn't even getting anything yet. And I was like, God, if you want me to do this, I don't even want the job. I was like, just show me a sign, bro, that you want me to do this. And then like, and I was like, and I will keep going. If not, you know what I'm saying, I figured out. Boom, the next day I got a call back. I didn't get the job, but I said, I hear you. I said, for sure, that's all I needed. And so like throughout the whole, I question myself every day. Like even after I finish a movie, bro, I'm like, damn, am I like, is that like, I don't even watch what I do. Like I haven't watched like, I don't watch like none of my shows, anything. Like it's hard. It's like, it's tough for me. Cause you know what I'm saying? I'm so critical like of myself. And it's like, I question myself all the time, and you'll never not question yourself, but that's why you have to find that place in you where you know you have that love for yourself. But like if you don't question yourself, then you God, and none of us is that. Like if you're a good actor, you will question yourself, and you will question like what you're doing and why, because that's all we have is to ask questions. So I question myself the whole way, and like it'll come to you. Your journey will be different than mine. I don't have the answer for it, but like I legit did not know, bro. Like I was terrified the whole time. I'm terrified tomorrow. Like, look, I don't think I can go work at like Chipotle now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Like it's real. Like I'm scared. Like I have to keep making it. So like, you know, I put pressure on myself from that. It's either that or I retire. So I'm just gonna choose to like keep going harder, because I can't be the person like, hey, when you on All American, bro, let me get 2 extra scoops on the guacamole. It's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry.
You're hilarious.
I feel like in the television and film world and the acting world, there's a lot of pressure and emphasis on making it and grinding. But I feel like another aspect of that that's kind of overlooked is, you know, self-care and making sure that you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you take breaks for yourself? And if you do, when and how long?
Oh, what's your
Great
name?
question.
Jamie,
Yeah.
like, yes, I like that. Man, me and my mom have had crazy conversations about that, man. Like, I didn't know how to at first. I'll say that. Like, once it started, like, I did the pilot for the quad. Then Detroit happened. Then the pilot for the quad got picked up. So I went like, and then the very next thing, then I did Tales. Then I did, and it didn't stop. And then so, but then like everything I was doing was like pain stuff. So like for the lines, I was like, damn, I was like, why am I so sad? Like, why am I depressed? Like, you know what I mean? No, for real. Like,